This episode is presented in the form of an audiobook. Have you ever felt like you're speaking, but no one is really listening? Or that no matter how much effort you put in, your hard work seems to go unnoticed? If you've ever felt invisible, whether in your personal or professional life, you're not alone. According to Vanessa Van Edwards in her book Cues, this might be because you lack charisma. Charisma is the key quality that makes others pay attention to you, and Van Edwards' research shows that many of us unknowingly sabotage our own charisma. Without it, communication and connection become much harder, which can hold you back in every area of life. The good news is that even if charisma doesn't come naturally to you, you can learn to convey it by adopting certain charismatic cues. For Van Edwards, charisma isn't magic. It's the science of small verbal and nonverbal signals that influence how others perceive you. In this episode, we'll break down exactly how to become more charismatic. First, we'll explore what charisma truly means and how verbal and nonverbal cues either reinforce or undermine it. Then, we'll dive into the specific cues you should adopt and those you should avoid, depending on your personality. By the end of this episode, you'll have a clear understanding of how to start projecting a charismatic image that makes people take notice and value you. When you walk into a room full of strangers, it only takes a few seconds for people to form an opinion about you. They don't know your name yet, but they've already decided whether you come across as confident, approachable, or worth engaging with. This instant judgment happens because of the cues you unconsciously send to those around you. Vanessa Van Edwards refers to these cues as the secret language of communication. She explains that every subtle signal we give, whether it's our posture, eye contact, or the way we walk, communicates far more than we realize. These cues essentially tell the world, "This is who I am," even before we open our mouths. According to Van Edwards, every conversation is a QE contest. We are constantly judging the cues of others while they are doing the same with ours. Think about it. You meet someone at a party. If they give you a limp handshake and avoid eye contact, your brain instantly thinks, "Not confident." But here's where it gets interesting. Van Edwards discovered that the most charismatic people have mastered the art of balancing two types of cues, warmth and competence. Warmth cues are the ones that make people trust you. They're things like your smile, open gestures, and friendly tone of voice. Competence cues, on the other hand, are the ones that make people respect you. They involve standing tall, speaking clearly, and showing confidence. The key is finding that sweet spot between the two. Van Edwards explains that warmth earns trust, while confidence earns respect. Together, they create charisma. Let's break this down with an example. Imagine you're in a job interview. You want to come across as capable, someone who knows their stuff. That's competence. But if you're too focused on sounding smart and forget to smile or show some personality, the interviewer might think, "Okay, they know their stuff, but do I want to work with them?" In this case, you've nailed competence but missed warmth. On the flip side, picture someone who's bubbly and friendly but can't answer basic questions about the job. Sure, they're likable, but the interviewer will be left wondering, do they actually know what they're doing? Too much warmth without competence leaves people questioning your abilities. Too much competence without warmth? You risk coming across as cold or distant. Warmth without competence can actually make people feel intimidated by you. A truly charismatic person is like a big brother or sister, someone you look up to as a mentor, but also someone you genuinely care about. The perfect example of this balance is Keanu Reeves, the internet's favorite human being. Why do people love him so much? Because he's mastered the art of balancing warmth and competence. On the competence side, he's an exceptional actor, completely dedicated to his craft. On the warmth side, he's humble, approachable, and treats everyone, from co-stars to fans, with kindness. It's this rare combination that makes him universally admired. Vanessa Van Edwards goes even deeper into this concept with what she calls the 4 levels of charisma. It's like a roadmap to help you figure out exactly where you stand and where you might need to level up. Let's start at the bottom. No charisma. This is where both warmth and confidence are missing. You come across as cold, uncaring, and even incompetent, whether or not that's true. You might be the smartest, kindest person in the room, but if you're not showing it through your cues, people won't see it. Next up, some charisma, but high confidence and low warmth. This is where many professionals land. If you value expertise, you're likely sending out competence cues. People respect you for your skills, but without warmth, you may come across as cold and intimidating. Then, there's the opposite, some charisma with low competence but high warmth. The issue here is that warmth without competence can feel unreliable. People love spending time with you, but they might start wondering if you really know what you're talking about. But the issue with too much warmth and low competence is that people may not count on you or see you as reliable. Now, the ultimate level of charisma is when you have both high competence and high warmth. This is where trust and respect meet, and it's why highly charismatic people inspire collaboration and loyalty. People want to work with you, and they trust you to lead. So, how do you move up the charisma ladder? That's where the real work begins. According to Vanessa Van Edwards, it's absolutely possible to level up no matter where you're starting. Charisma isn't a fixed trait, it's a skill, and like any skill, it gets better with practice. The first step is to figure out where you currently stand based on the 4 levels of charisma I just explained. Once you know your starting point, you need to learn how to dial up the cues you're missing, depending on the situation and the individuals you're interacting with. Generally speaking, most people have a good sense of where they stand on the charisma ladder. If you're not sure, take a moment to ask yourself, am I naturally warmer, more competent, or am I struggling with both? You need to be honest with yourself. Maybe you're the friendly, approachable type who lights up a room but freezes when it's time to present your ideas. Or perhaps you're the hyper-focused expert whose sharpness commands respect, but it keeps people at arm's length. Knowing where you are is key. Van Edwards suggests an easy exercise to help balance warmth and confidence. She calls it the friend and expert test. After any interaction, ask yourself, did I make them feel like I'm their friend? Did I show that I know what I'm talking about? If the answer to both is yes, then you're on the path to mastering charisma. For example, if you're pitching an idea, start with a relatable story or a joke to build connection. Then, deliver your facts and figures with clarity and confidence. Think of warmth as a way to open the door and confidence as the reason people want to walk through. Key cues you use don't have to be grand gestures. Simplicity is key. For example, if you want to convey warmth, all you need to do is make the other person feel appreciated. A simple smile, nodding when they speak, or maintaining eye contact can go a long way. If you want to show confidence, it's about speaking and acting with assurance in what you're saying. Your tone of voice and how you articulate yourself matter, but so does your body language. You need to pay attention to your micro-expressions and overall body language, not just your words. When your micro-expressions and body language align with your words, people trust you. But when they don't, people will always trust your body over the words you say. This happens because before you even say a word, your body is already communicating. In fact, research shows that up to 93% of communication is nonverbal. Your body speaks before you do. Microexpressions and body language can reveal warmth, confidence, or discomfort in the blink of an eye. So, what are microexpressions? They're those lightning-fast facial movements that reveal what someone is truly feeling. These expressions last less than a second, but they carry a lot of emotional information. For example, a genuine smile, what researchers call a Duchenne smile, activates not just the mouth but also the muscles around your eyes. If someone's smile doesn't reach their eyes, they're probably faking it, and believe me, people pick up on that. If you want to show warmth, practice letting your smile fully engage your face. It instantly makes you more approachable. Another key microexpression is raised eyebrows. Let's say you're telling a story and the other person's eyebrows lift slightly. That's a good sign they're interested. But if they furrow their brows or press their lips tightly, it could mean confusion or doubt. Microexpressions are universal. No matter where you're from, a genuine smile or a look of disgust will mean the same thing. Now, let's talk about the rest of your body. Van Edwards reminds us that every movement you make sends a signal. Are you confident, approachable, or closed off? Your body needs to match your words in order to build trust. For example, if you're saying, "I'm really excited to be here," but your arms are crossed, guess what? No one's buying it. Posture is another big one. Standing tall with your shoulders back not only makes you look more confident, but it also makes you feel more confident. This is what Van Edwards calls power posing. Even if you're nervous, adopting a strong, open posture can trick your brain into feeling more in control. It's like faking it until you make it, except it actually works. The most charismatic people are like chameleons, not in a fake way, but in their ability to adjust their cues to fit any environment. Charisma starts with awareness of the situation, the people, and what they need from you in that moment. Different people respond to different cues, so to connect effectively, you need to understand what they value most. Some may prefer warmth, while others value confidence. When in doubt, Van Edwards recommends always starting with warmth. It's the fastest way to build connection. Once you've done that, add competence to solidify trust and respect. Here's the key takeaway. You don't have to be perfect to be charismatic. The goal isn't to become a completely different person. Charisma is about building real, meaningful connections. It's about making people feel seen, valued, and inspired. This is the kind of impression that leaves a lasting impact.